Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I will address in this video a few questions that were asked of me, and they had to do with why did I come to United States of America. And I think I will use this video to tell you a few stories. So in Romania, when I was a boy, there was a communist party in charge of a socialist country of Romania. And things were as they were. Scarcity in food, scarcity in many things, but there was a kind of an organized society. It was required order, discipline, value in school, more or less, people worked, corruption and hypocrisy like everywhere else. But if I were to compare those times with the next period, which was the period of freedom and democracy, I think it was an attempt to develop the human being, to improve the human being. It was more inclined towards knowledge and bettering yourself than what followed. Well, I was a teenage boy when the revolution occurred in Romania, and make the story short, the long story short, the communist dictator Ceausescu was killed like a dog with the help of outside forces anyway, and then it was a transition period, which, we all of a sudden Romanians became independent, and democracy was flourishing, and freedom and all that, capitalism. Well, I gotta tell you that that was my worst time, the worst time of my life, maybe before I left the country. It was not horrible in a way that you wouldn't have food or you wouldn't, but I think what I thought then and what I still think now, after I had time for reflection, after reading more about those times and learning and listening to more whistles from those times and so on, that was a period where I think the worst how should I put it, people in the society got to be in charge of the society, or at least they had more access than before to become the people in charge of the democratic system, of the political arena, mass media, news, entertainment, and schools, all that, including the local leaders. So as I said, I was a teenage boy, and then what I could figure out and what story I could hear from the adults around me. The adults around me were not retards. I gotta tell you now, not because they were my family and people that they associated with, but they were, from the, I would say, I wouldn't, how should I put it, embarrass myself if I introduce you to any of those guys that some of them are dead, some of them are alive. So there were people that I really respected, and I still respect, because I could compare them with people that I met in my life, in the free world, in my life. And they were intelligent people, they were intellectuals. So the stories that I could see over there, and people that I started knowing at that time, young adult, were the money changers in a society that became senators, bartenders, that became, again, important political figures in the city, in the neighborhood, in the county, in the country. And some of them I knew, some of them my parents knew. And I knew from them who those guys really were, because they knew them. And then I had a period of time in my life when I was accumulating a lot of knowledge through books. I read a lot in those times, and I started forming myself. I was practicing martial arts. I was involved in, ideal perception of life and humanity, and I had a certain vision, and I took seriously when they were telling us to be good people, and when they told us that now we're a democracy, and when told us that this is a capitalism, and when told us that the Americans were coming like some saints, and the Western countries were the best, and the Russians were the worst, and Romanians were idiots, and they need the help of the West to come and help us because we are retards. That never sat well with me because I met people from the West and I didn't feel any inferiority complex. On the contrary, I met them through karate competitions and people that I met, and I didn't find anything extraordinary about them. It was just that they were mild, they were nicer than we were. We were more aggressive, we Romanians. We were more rude, or ruder, or rude. Let's put it straight. And they were not. They were nice. They were very flexible. They were avoid conflict. That's what I found here. They were very well regimented, better than the communists regimented us. So it was strange. I got to that conclusion later when I really got involved with the Western countries, and I realized, well, you were supposed to be the free ones, and you were regimented. And we were supposed to be the communist guys that were supposed to be, oppressed. And we are more revolutionary in our beliefs and in our actions than you are. How is that possible? I realized that later. So anyway, I wanted to leave Romania for a few reasons. The first was what I saw around me, and what qualities you really need in order to succeed in society. Because I saw, as I said, many people of bad character being senators, being leaders of this country. And I had to say that I figured out that I really lack those qualities. So I said, there's no way for me to, even if I tried for a little while, I was a young adult, so I didn't have all the weapons necessary and connection at that time. So I was trying, but I saw that the weapons that I was given by my parents, my education, were not working. That was not really needed. Other things were working better than being honest, hardworking, and intelligent and all that. No, that didn't matter. It didn't matter how you can swindle and fool people and do all that. If you can, ascend without merit, that was great. That was the merit. How you get up there. It didn't matter that you stole, you cheated, you lied. No, you got over there. That was considered in that society, and to a certain extent here, that you were smart, that you fooled, lied, and cheated and all that. Well, I couldn't stand that. I said, that's not for me. And obviously, when you are a teenage boy, young adult, you want to become, a semi-god or something. You want to succeed. You think the world is yours. Well, I figured out that I couldn't compete there. Be honest, I was, with my qualities, this is not my place. That's not necessarily the first one. This is one of them. I started with it because it just came to my mind, the first one. The second one was, I would say, the culture. The new culture, which was the subculture. Something that would be, let's say in the United States, you would have gangster rap culture or subculture becoming the mainstream culture. Now you can imagine what would that mean. No, those things should be glorified, and we would live by those values. So that was something that I saw on the way our intelligentsia spoke and what kind of people were promoted on the TV as intellectuals or teachers, professors. And I realized that those were not the best in the society. They were, let's put it, they were like this. They were illiterate. They were the whores, and I don't want to use the third one because it would be harmful to a certain group. So I said, well, how come these guys are promoted? That's no value. But it was on the television. People that could not make sentences, in Romanian, they were Romanian, they were this and this and that and this and this. They were multimillionaires, they were in dollars in a short period of time. Some of them were politicians, high up in the government. And they were over there, and nobody would say anything. They were hailed. Nobody would say, you are an illiterate. You don't know how much is 1 plus 1. You don't know what the population of Romania is. And you are a senator, or you are, I don't know, the minister of finance, or something like that. I'm just giving you an example. And I said, something is wrong here. I can't stand this. I was angry all day, every day, with this situation. And another aspect, so I would say meritocracy was not the big point. And another one was the financial aspect. When you're young, you think that you're gonna be becoming this or becoming that, and you're gonna have this and you're gonna have that. And why not? You watch movies, don't you? So you see how other people live and how other people have the basics, basic stuff. How should I put it? They don't have to struggle with basic stuff like electricity, food, water, clothes. This is the basic. Well, if you have more in your brain, you understand that you should have in the 20th century, or then 21st century, more. And why not? And I realized that I'm in a material way, I'm in the wrong place. So that is, for the job I would do, let's say in Romania, if I would do the same job in the Western world, I would have a good life. And I don't. My mother was a pharmacist. My father was an engineer. We were barely making it. Barely making it. My family were always, university professors, engineers, doctors, all that. Barely making. And I said, I can't be like this. I shouldn't. Why should I? And I had a friend at that time who got to United States of America. I'm gonna cut how, when, who, or whatever. He came here. And he was working as a laborer here. And he was making, 10 times more than I was making over there as a laborer. And I said, you know what? I can't accept this. I will not accept this. I gotta change this. Besides that, friend of mine was not a fantastic friend. See how nice I was? And he was making like that. I said, so he's 10 times better than I am? Well, at that time I didn't realize that the rent here is 50 times more than in Romania, or this over here is much expensive insurance than in Romania. But I can't. That person is better than me financially 10 times. I can't. Why am I here? I said, if I change the location, I can change my income just by changing location. And because of maybe the PR that I was fed, that United States or Western countries, United States was not my first option. It became my first option when I first came to United States. Then it was, and I've been to Europe, all over Europe. And when I came to the United States, I said, this is it. There were some factors, some freedoms that made me say, this is United States. This is it, among others, okay? So these were the culture, the lack of meritocracy, the financial, and the culture. The culture, I say it again. When I first came here to the United States, and I went to the store, and I went around Americans, it's a big difference. Even if it's an appearance, it's a big difference. People here are different. They're more open. They're more calmer. This society is easier. And one thing that I liked is that if you work, you get paid. All right? I have the sense of meritocracy is working here. Obviously, after a while, I realized that yeah, you can, but after a certain point, you have to know people. You have to be Romanian. But it's okay. You can still have everything you maybe wanted, unless you want Bugattis and I know 3 palaces and who knows what, which I never wanted. But anyway, you can have anything you want with honest work. You don't have to steal, you don't have to cheat, you don't have to lie, you don't have to do anything like that. Just go to work, show up, do your job, and save money. Don't spend money on bullshit, and financially you will be clear. And then obviously you're going to have other opportunities. You will have opportunities, but you have to grab them and hang on to them. A lot of people tell me, well, America gave you that. No, the only thing America gave me the chance to work like a slave. That's all. And thank you very much. Because they all give you that chance, but not as good as this country. At least for me. Okay? I can still have freedom better than any other country, but I don't have other things that for instance, I had in Romania. I don't have the same level of friendship that I felt in Romania. I don't have the same, how should I put it? It's kind of warmth that you feel in, let's say, in Latin countries. In Romania, it's a different approach. Here, it's a little bit colder. But you don't expect anybody to love you just because it's you. But anyway, it's just a different take. You can't have it all. Let's put it this way. You gain things, but you have to leave things behind, and vice versa. I don't regret coming here whatsoever. That's why I'm here. But I think things could be done better here. And not only that better, at least things that were done here before could be done again, and that's going to be an improvement. Now, things that were done before are done right, they're not done anymore. Now it's bad, and it's going down and down and down. At least if you can turn it back to at least what it was. And obviously, like any other society, you can improve it. But at least the idea is fantastic. The idea is fantastic. So these are the basic reasons that made me come to United States of America. And as I said, no regrets. I mean, if I want, I can go back whenever I want. I can go back, or I can go wherever I want. But I don't want to go anywhere else. I like this country. I like these people. I like what opportunity it gave me. With its limits, like any other one. But I think the limits here are much, how should I put it, further than the limits I would have had in other countries where I visited. Now, I didn't go to Iran. I didn't go to Russia. I didn't go to, I don't know, North Korea. I didn't go to China. I can't compare like that. And one thing is to go visit, and another thing is to stay over there a few months and really get engaged in their society. Pay taxes, have to go and do this, have to go and do that. You obviously will see differently the world. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.